Hello everybody, welcome back to the Midlands Outdoors channel today. Back with another video, my favourite walking routes. We're heading to Clent Hill today to check out the views. Gonna have a look at Clent itself because it's one of my favourite walks. Just on a busy road at the moment, that's why I'm talking a bit loud. And on the side of me is Hagley Woods, a very mysterious woodland to where a woman named Bella was actually murdered and placed within a wych elm tree. It is believed that wych elm tree where she was murdered is just right by the flower stand onto the corner down onto here. If I just look into the gates, I will quickly show you the woods itself. Right, just onto that corner there. Let's have a quick look. It does say private woodland, keep out. But that there, into their summer, is where Bella was actually murdered. It does go straight up into like a nice little big path, look right in front. I have seen the deers many times before into this corner. It is a lovely woodland. You can imagine if you had permission to go in there, you would see quite a lot of wildlife. But you can just pan around and just see one more time from there, but you can just see, look, private woodland. And I do know the West Midlands police actually used to do the dog training over here. There's police signs on here saying dog training, but I was going back quite a while ago when they did that. But interesting place. But let's go and journey on. We're going to get to the gates where the Hagley Park is to walk up to Clent. Right, we're taking a shortcut to Clent. This is actually a better way now that I've done this. Panning around to show you, here's the gates for Hagley Park. It is a lovely park. I really enjoyed going around there at the time. As you can just see there, it actually opens at 10 AM to 4 PM, 7 days a week. But you know, you can take your shortcut to get to there because you can go by the side. And another thing as well, which is a bonus, drop to the cafe. It is really lovely in there. If I've got time now, I might go for a quick coffee before we get to the top of Clent. The coffee looks so nice into that cafe, and I'm going to go and check out the prices. Might just go in there and just have a quick look around one more time just by the entrance. But looking right the way around, this actually used to be a field at one time, and when you walk down the main road by the Badger set, you always used to see deers onto here at one point. I just pan around, all the deers used to be onto that corner, onto the fields. But now you don't really see the deers much anymore now. That is because they've actually blocked off the fencing from this side. There wasn't fencing there going back ages and ages ago. So I think the deers, some of the deers are stuck on that side of the park, in the woodland and towards Uffmore. But the way the deers escaped in World War II, when a bomb dropped on a fence, that's how the deers led all over that far. And that is actually why in my Uffmore video, my favourite walking route, you've seen deer over there. Oh, just a bit of a further walk up, I'm nearly there. But if I pan around, look at the corner. A nice view of Witchbury Hill, just right over there, look. You can just see the monument sticking right the way out, look at that. And then you've got the Badger Set pub, just right there, what I'm looking at. A lovely pub down on the bottom. Can see the back end of Witchbury into the Round Hill woodland. I'm going down, lovely view, but you do get the spectacular views at the top of Clent, and that is actually why I'm going, to see if I can show you why Clent is my favourite. You can't beat coming locally to something like this though, because you've got all the wildlife. I can just hear wildlife now within the depths of that part of the woodland, Hagley Woods. It's just spectacular just to listen to it and, you know, get a feel of the area. So I just had another look. I went to the ticket office, which is right away at the back, just over to there. Spoke to a nice gent because I've done a video for these guys going back a while ago. It's on my channel, so if you do want to see it, go and check it out. But if you want me to come back, then definitely drop a comment. I will come back at a later date. But it is a really nice place. Only £40 for a year just to come around, and it is really big. You can keep coming and coming because it's got that many features into that back, like the rotundas. It's a lovely walk. It's different to Clent, and if you've got that season ticket, you can come when you want, which is really quite cool. So where we're heading right the way now is all the way up to the top of Clent Hills from this path. So I'm going to go right up to this way, just pan around. Going to come past this building one more time, and the path still leads round, because I always thought when they built this that they removed path access to go to the top of Clent, but you can actually still come this way, which is kind of reasonable. But yeah, it's looking a bit alright with the weather. I don't know if it's got a rain or not. We'll keep moving up and then we'll get to the top of Clent Hills. So yeah, this is one of my favourite paths to go to Clent, or not the main roads where you don't get much views to go to the top. There's always something to see when you come across here. Now just by the side of me is the Hagley Park itself, stretching all the way further up what meets the path on the side where we carry on down. And it will just join to the side by the big castle what's at the bottom. Interesting castle that is, that's on the grounds of the Hagley Park. I think they're going to turn it into a cafe and an extra facility over there. I think in a few years to come, what I've heard. We're surrounded by trees just above me right now. I've come here before, going back a couple of years ago, and spotted woodpeckers actually within these trees, and it is a really beautiful sight within the spring period when they are nesting. But if I just walk down, you will actually see the woodpeckers nest over so many years. I don't know if they still come here to nest, but if I just pan my camera around, you can just see what I mean by how much wildlife you can expect to see at Clent Hills. Now that tree, just right the way there, what I'm looking at, let's quickly zoom in when I get closer, I will show you. Look at that, there's just so many woodpecker rolls. Look how many poles it's had over many years of nesting, going right the way up. Look at that. I wouldn't expect them to be here now, they're probably like somewhere over Clent. Might be lucky enough if I do see one today. But look how quiet it is up here. It's extremely quiet, only a few odd bird sounds. That's what I love, it's so peaceful when you come to Clent, and that's what you want it to be about. But if I just pan around, you can just see some really spectacular views. Look at the views in the distance. Look at those. I'm not even at the top of Clent yet, and you can sort of see further over to the Black Country region part over there. Can see parts of Dudley, parts of Brawley Hill where the Delph Locks are, where the flats are. Really quite cool. If I had a zoomed camera, I would be able to see from the distance over, but you can just see the flats in the distance sticking up. A bit over there you can see Dudley. A bit further on, lovely view that is. But sadly I have not got the zoomed camera anymore. I actually sold it going back quite a while ago, but I'm thinking about getting another one in many years to come, because they are useful, they're really fantastic for wildlife. I brought another one at the moment, but it doesn't go as further what I could see in the distance. But the views are more better in the summer actually, because when you're looking over there, you don't want it to be like how it is now, a bit hazy. You want it to be so clear, and summertime is the best for Clent. And I will show you some spots up here where you can get some really decent views, especially where it's quiet, because I know when you go to the top of Clent there's always visitors and a load of people, and especially if you just want to take a bit of time to yourself, it's really nice to come and do this. But this is why it's actually one of my favourite walks, is for the views. It's just breathtaking at certain points. I can imagine though on Hagley Park, look how old some of these trees even are, because many years ago all this used to belong to the Hagley Hall estate itself, but then got cut off into separate sections like Witchbury Hill. Witchbury Hill used to be all joined up at one time with the Temple of Ephesus, the big monument, so there wouldn't have been a road across there, it would have all been joined up all together. But imagine how old some of these trees even are in this park, and that one's probably really old, what they've cut down. If we walk down, I'm going to go across the path what leads straight on towards Clent. So right, here's the path actually leading straight the way down towards Clent. And it is lovely to see the private woodlands just surrounding by the side of me right at the moment. It would be nice to see what's in there, but they're obviously private and you can't go in there. But you can just see on this side we've got the Hagley Park still joined up by the side of me. It's really lovely. Old trees, especially up there when I zoom in. You can just see a few old trees up into that corner. It's very quiet. And then when you look down, look at the view of that. This goes right the way in front. Look at the views from there. Going all the way straight down and carries on. Really a spectacular view, that, this path. But at this time of year though, you don't expect to get much wildlife. Not until March, and that's why spring is my favourite time to come to places like this, and once more to come to places like what's by the side of me. I will return to that place because I've heard you get variations of different wildlife over there, especially some rare plants like Uffmore Woods is like a certain orchid that grows at a certain time of year. But I have seen a few deers over there at one point, And especially seeing the wildlife, it just makes your day. But that's why I can't really hear nothing at the moment, because it is just so quiet. I mean, look at the views over there, and all the leaves have dropped off the tree. Look at that, really beautiful. So here we are, we've come to the side of Clent Hills, because right away in the distance, right out there, is the top of Clent. It looks really tall up, but when you walk the path you don't even realise it. Panning around to show you, can just see right away at the top of there, the stones are right around that corner, just right away at the top. Really nice view, but when you get to there the views are spectacular. You can see much of the black country and surrounding areas from that place. But I love that, and then Walton Hills also my second favourite, because the views from that side are even just as breathtaking. But I've got a journey up there in a minute. It's quite a steep path just going right the way up. But on the side here is the castle, which is lurking right around the grounds of the Hagley Park itself. It is actually just right the way there. I don't be able to make it out at the back of them trees. I will actually show you in a minute a bit of footage of when I went round there. Just cut a segment from the video to show you, but I'll show you that when I get to the top and just show you where the castle goes about. But look at the views into the park itself as you're going down. This goes right the way in the distance. Look at that. Really nice views of the park, and if you're lucky enough at a certain time you can get some really good views of the deer, especially if it's really quiet onto here. And that's actually where I seen the deer on the last visit, just onto the grounds there, because there was a path what leads back down towards the entrance. Let's go and show you the castle entrance right away at the top. So here we are, here's actually the castle itself, right the way in front, just right away over there. There is a bit of fencing, I can just see just right above on the side of it, and they're actually restoring that for a cafe or some extra facilities for the Hagley Park itself, what I've been told. But there's a bit of video footage for you now around the side of the castle, so I can just recap on what that is even about. It does say designed for George Littleton by local amateur architect Sanderson Miller. The iconic ruined castle was completed in 1747, possibly replacing the earlier tower, which, if not built, by his grandfather Sir Charles Littleton late in the previous century during his re-emparkment of Hagley, begun in 1693, well, 16th century. Miller's much celebrated ruinated castle kick-started a fashion for similar fake Gothic eye-catchers in other English landscape gardens. The placement of these were not only intended to provoke associations in the viewer's mind, stimulating conversion, but when compared with the Greek and Roman temples, more commonly embellishing our landscape gardens, illustrated a growing period interest in our nation's own architectural history. So you can just see there, based around the architect Sanderson Miller. But yeah, quite interesting seeing that, but you can't get to it from this side, it's locked. It's got the old private signs for the Hagley Park itself many years ago. But I think they might do something with this, I don't really know. But it would be a better way to get to the castle from here actually. especially for some of the visitors who want to journey around the side of Clent Hills and take in the nice views like what I've just done. But where we're headed is right up there. We're going to go to the top of Clent now and go and check out the beautiful views. Really stunning up this path. Hopefully it's not too muddy. But right the way up here. But you can take many sections down that path down there, leads to Hagley Estate. If you keep on going, it is a muddy path when you get so many sections down there. I've done it before. Might actually journey down there in the summer and take that route again. But we're heading this way. Right the way up there, look at the views of that with the trees. Just giving like that little bit of like a feature, like an alley down there. Really beautiful. And when the trees are on the leaves, when it comes to like the summertime, it is really a nice view. Get some decent views from here, and the wildlife is just spectacular. So isn't it beautiful just seeing all the moss at this time of year growing on the trees? I just love looking at it because I mean every tree you look at when you go down is covered with moss. And in the summertime you don't really see the moss. But if I just pan around, look at some of the old trees over there. They're just literally filled with green moss. Looking all the way down, look at that. Wow, it's just a beautiful sight for Clent Hills. Definitely love looking at that spectacular sight. Now just on the floor by the side of me is this. Look at this stuff which is growing just onto there. It's like some sort of like air plant thing, but if you want to identify what that is, then drop it in the comments if you want. It is some really quite interesting stuff. I have seen the mistletoe up here at a certain point of the year just hanging from a tree. That's also like an air plant, but that is really crazy how that grows on a small twig like that, and a lot of moss. Look at the moss was growing from it. And the reason why the moss actually grows from these trees is because when you look in the middle of it, they are really damp, and some of them are really rotten, but they're still standing there. Like this tree behind me right there, some parts of it I've had a look on a bit of tree are rotten. Some have got diseases. I've just noticed when I've done cinematics down there was like a fungi disease. I know you get ash dieback disease as well on some of the trees. There was an incident of it, like local of ash dieback, going back many years ago. It is a shame to see some of our trees just vanishing from places like this, and that's why we should be protecting, you know, areas where trees actually are, protecting the wildlife, because in many years to come, this place will be so different to what we see it as now. All these trees will be much more taller, they could be really old. But if we aren't looking after the area, then most of this could vanish within years to come. It's just really hard to know, but just noticed that, and it is quite interesting to actually see a bit of rot on some of the trees. But looking at it, some of them are really healthy. I mean, I look at a few of these ones there, the baby ones, those are healthy, look at that. So one of the viewpoints that I want to show you, which is one of my favourites, is just coming up at any minute now. Because you can just stand here and it's just so quiet. And this is where I tested my Nikon P900 for the first ever time I ever brought it. It was from this spot here. But look at the views of this. They are just so breathtaking. Look at this when I turn around and we're not even at the top of Clent. Look at that. The views of the fields down there. And zooming in right away in the distance, you can just see much more now. Look at the views of that. Absolutely breathtaking. You can just see much more of the back areas of the Black Country. You can see parts of Merry Hill, St Andrew's Church on top of the hill. But the haze is sort of a problem because it does block much of the views out. And then Dudley, look how far Dudley is. And Dudley's right away in the distance, where I'm putting right away now. Over there, and it looks so far, Dudley does. But it ain't really. And you've got Turner's Hill just from the far back, peeking right away out from the side of the trees. Don't even have to make it out. But what a spectacular view. But the best is not over yet. You'll see the best when they get to the top of Clent. But I could just sit here for hours and just watch the views. And many walkers love stuff like this. They love to take in the surroundings, and that's what the walk's about. It's not just to come out and get exercise. It's about to take in the surroundings, what we've got. I'm really thankful we've got something like this on the doorstep, because living in a big city like Birmingham, like if you lived in the distance what I just showed you, you ain't got the best of the views and the best of the places to walk with. You're stuck in more of the city centre. So you're just stuck in the city centre, but you have to travel far to come to a place like this. So without the transport, this is why I'm actually proud I'm living right next door to this kind of stuff, because you can keep on going and going in the countryside, and that's what I love about it. But one more look, just to show you one more time, of the spectacular views. So this is actually point number 1, which is one of my favourite places to come, which is so quiet just to check out the views. But look at that. Absolutely spectacular, just seeing that view right away in the distance. And right, I've just forgot about this angle. Look from this angle now. I'll turn around. You've even got Whisper Hill just right over there. Look at the view of that. You can just see much more now. That is really amazing. And that is actually just on this bend what goes down. But to get to the top of Clent, I always take this path, which is a shortcut. You can just literally walk right at the top of here. It's a very steep path, so it will take you a bit of a battle to get right the way up here. I really hate steep paths, but when I get to some place, you've got to do it. But there we go. It isn't really too much effort. But look at that, we're at the top of Clent now nearly. Oh, what a day. And I have noticed it is going pretty much foggy. There's a fog lingering. That's pretty much why it's hazy in the distance. So hopefully next week the weather's got to be fine. It's a week off work now. But wow, what a walking route. And look at that. I'll tell you what, I'm not as fit as what I used to be. I used to be able to do this in like within seconds. But it's so knackering. I've got to get back into the walking habit, especially having all them lockdowns. It just took the routine off me. And then going back into work, into like a part-time job, I don't really take as much time out as like what I did to do this kind of stuff. Well, I mainly do my videos on my days off, but I've got to try and keep it back up if I can. Keep very active. I say Clent Hills is a popular place. It's more of like a tourist attraction. You get people from all over the world to come and check out Clent Hills, because the views from the top vantage point where the stones are is just really breathtaking, and I don't blame them coming this far. And what's bonus about it, National Trust, it's free just to come and check out a place like this. But let me show you this in 1 minute. But look at that, you can just pretty much see into the Malverns, and then further at the back the Welsh border right around the distance where I'm pointing. You can just sort of see into Wales. This is how tall up Clent Hills is, and with that zoom camera you've really got the benefits. You might just be able to see it, but it's a bit too hazy. Right over there you've got parts of Kidderminster. Looking right around the depths down there, I think Stourport, you guys might know a bit more better. It's trying to find out from the views. I can use Google Maps actually a bit to find out what's lurking where. But those are interesting, those big tall hills at the back. And you had Ironbridge Power Station many years ago, but they actually knocked down Ironbridge Power Station now. So there isn't many parts remaining for it. And you could actually see the tall stack, what was sticking up over the distance. But what a view, it's just nice just to come and take all this in. One more time to show you, look at all that. Really beautiful, I love it. So wasn't it nice to come to check out the views, but just right in the distance right now it's parts of the Black Country. Look at this. You can even see much more better than what I did. But right the way over there is more views of the Black Country area, Dudley, Turner's Hill. You can even see Rowley Regis a bit more better now. Right the way there where I'm pointing is Rowley Regis, just at the bottom of Turner's Hill. Got Merry Hill, where the Round Oak Steelworks used to be many years ago, just onto that corner of the Dudley Enterprise Zone. Even the bottom down there, the flats, Brawley Hill Flats, where the Delph Locks meet at the bottom. I bet you could see the Delph Locks from here. So I bet if I had a zoom camera you could probably see quite a lot of interesting stuff. But looking right the way, it is lovely to see the Black Country from an aerial view, sort of. But wow, what a view that is absolutely breathtaking just to see that. Amazing. But you can see parts further over that way if you get up to back of Walton Hill. But one more pan around so you can just see the views from here. Look one more time. Look at the far distance into the vast amount of countryside what's surrounded by it. It looks like it's raining right there in the distance, but one more time looking around. Look at that. So right, really nice to see that. Can just look one more time, look at the views. Still doing up, we're getting higher and higher up. The highest vantage point now is the stones. Look at that view. But you can just see, if I pan around now, you can just see more of the distance over there, further the back. I believe that way is like West Bromwich and further the back. But zooming in to show you, you can see parts of West Brom right the way in the distance. But lovely view of the Black Country, I do love it. Look at that. So here's the interesting part to Clent Hills. Here's the 4 stones, and I do believe these stones were actually placed by the Hagley estate many years ago as part of the park. And look at that, there's just 4 very old stones just right around the corner. Do look like sort of concrete, really old. Look at those. Really crazy to why these were even at the top of Clent Hills, but you can just see some are growing there. It's quite interesting. But you can just see on each 4 stone how they're all different. Look at these, and this one here is quite mysterious to why this is even carved onto the stone itself. Look at these patterns. I know there's one on this side of it, but no, I think it's just onto that other one actually. Looks like something that's fell out there, like a chunk of it. But interesting seeing those stones. Those are the 4 stones for Clent Hills, overlooking the views. Look at the views of that from this corner now. And it's really beautiful. Look at that. And then for another thing which is right away in the distance, go and take a look at this one. It's moving from the 4 stones. This here is interesting because it tells you a few things onto here. Let's go and have a look. It does say this stone was erected by the Rotary Club of Stourbridge and Kidderminster in 1929. This toposcope was refurbished by the Rotary Clubs of Stourbridge and Kidderminster to mark their 75th anniversary in 1997. I was actually born in 1997. It's my birth year. But look at that. Looking right the way at the top, you can just see it does tell you much thing. You've got Franklin Beaches, which is right around the distance right over there. You've got the Cotswold Hills. Those are right at the back, further in the distance. You've even got Stourport, I was right, Kidderminster, Trimpley, right around the backs down to there. But this is quite interesting if you've seen the toposcope, and you can actually see these up in Baggeridge as well. That's quite cool to see a date on there, 1929. Look at that. Quite interesting. But let's go and take a look at down the bottom. I've got something else to show you. So I'm going to show you towards the end of the video an abandoned hotel, which is at the bottom of Clent Hills. But I will come back and do Walton Hill in a later video. But I will just quickly show you one more views at the bottom of the Hagley Park itself and down towards the back areas. Look at this. One more, look. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Just to see the views of that is amazing. One more pan around. So right, here's the path what leads down to the Nimmins car park, I believe. It is quite steep up, but it's beautiful how the trees go down on the slope, and the cafe and the facilities and right the way down in the dip down there. Look at that, it's beautiful, the trees and them on the floor, giving it like that autumn effect. But it ain't really long to the spring now, we haven't really got long left. It will soon roll around to it. But it is more better when the trees, and they've got the leaves on them. But look at the view right the way in front, look at that. That is really quite cool, that is. Nice view. I mean, look at this for a path going down, look at the trees. Some of them have got like old writing on there, look at that. Old writing carved onto it. I have seen dates on some of these trees actually, some of them are actually dating old, but it's trying to find them. So maybe with all the moss on the trees, it does cover some things up. But look how old that is, look at that. That is an old tree. It's really a nice bit of view. That there's the facilities right at the bottom. Look how steep this is going down. So right, we're off Clent Hills now. We're down the main road which goes to the bottom where I joined before on my other video, just up from St Canals. But look at the view of this. Looking right the way around, you can just see there's a pool there. But right the way in the distance, if I can get a view, is Birmingham. Can just see Birmingham right the way there, showing back the haze because it would have been quite cool. Can see halesowen, Coombs Wood, right the way in the distance. There's Coombs Wood right the way there, right there in the distance. Nice little views, but it's not too far to where we want to get to. The hotel, what I want to look at, should just be further down onto the bottom. So we're going to check that out. Hopefully it's still there. It's been years since I've been down that way. Let's go and check it out. So right, here's the hotel. Hotel is just right the way there at the back in that dip. And there is actually used to be an old sign, and I do remember it being up at one point. And it's really quite cool to see it. So just right there is the old sign. Look at that. It's fell over, but I do remember actually being a sign in there many years ago, just before it came derelict. Now I might take this road going back. It might be a bit more quicker for me to go down and rejoin at the bottom road. But here's the hotel. I just can't believe that nothing's ever been done with it. You could just walk on the land, check it out. It's been like this for years. This is the entrance to it, the old wall, some of the bricks. You can just see, looking at this brick, if I get this on the side, LBC, so if you know what that means, Google it if you want. It's quite interesting. Could be an old brick. But you can just see the old brick wall right the way there, look onto the corner. More brick wall, that's actually part of the entrance to it. But look at this, everything is just gone, it's just all collapsed. You can just see the back parts, old sheds, something right at the bottom. I have no idea what that is at the back. Really have no clue. But it used to be a big decent amount of land. But here's the hotel, and you can just see there's been dumpings up here of rubbish. Look at all this. It's a shame why people do this, just dump a load of things on abandoned stuff, but whatever that is, that looks industrialised. What is that? Making me wonder, is it part of a weed grow? Because I can just see foil. Well, maybe. A lot of stuff there. I don't know what that is. Something growth. Canna. It's got to be cannabis. And they've just chuck a load of growth stuff out. Look at all that. Just moving up, I'm going to have a look at the buildings, but look at this. Used to be some back buildings there that's collapsed. It used to be full last time I seen that. But here's one of the buildings. He did suffer from a really bad fire. That's why this place even closed. But I think it's worse than what it is now. Most of it is collapsed right the way through. Let's go and check it out. Yeah, the ceiling's collapsed now. Look at that. It's really bad, but you can just see this would have been the entrance to come in. You would have had a reception into here, so where the reception was would be quite interesting. journeying through it. But look at that. You can just even see part of the roof where there would have been a glass window above there giving a bit of light. Another room here. Could have been a storage room by the looks of it. It definitely looks like a storage room here. And then looking right at the bottom, you can walk down into it actually. Here, down there, is the cellar. I mean, look at the cellar. That's crazy, that is. That would have been the stairs down to it. You see the fire how it's gone past, and the wall at the back, like a chimney. Look at the chimney up there. You can see there would have been like a fireplace on there, look. It does roll round to the back somewhere behind there, which is quite interesting. Let me just see if you can actually walk down to it. Bit bricky. Let's have a quick look. Right, but look at this, I'm just in the cellar at a minute. Look at the beam. This is why I love this walk, you get things like this. Look what's in here. Oh wow. So this looks like pretty much sort of intact, the wall, so you can just even see the old plugs, look. Look at the plugs down here, so I'm believing this would have been a cellar. Maybe where they stored wines, maybe where they stored food. If they did food, they like bread and breakfast. Looking right the way up, but you can just see how far the damage is extended. Let's go and take a look at the rooms. The rooms are quite interesting. There's some more old electric stuff there, look at that. Well, that's quite cool, seeing the architecture of that wall where the fireplace would have gone in, look. That's crazy. Right, let's get out of here because it is quite a bit dangerous on here. Let's go back up the stairs. What remains of the stairs. Right. Oh. I just love abandoned places, I do. I used to do urbex exploration at one time, and it's just amazing to see how some of the buildings are just even are. Some of them that have like rotted really bad, some of them in good condition where you just walk into the building. There's a lot of abandoned buildings across the UK, some really well hidden. It's interesting to see the YouTubers that do that stuff. But looking across here, look at this room. This would have been one of the hotel rooms, so you can just see there, look. It's got like, there's been curtains on there. You've had your bed into the corner. And it looks like there have been some under bits there, look, to something, because it is dark under those boards. Well, that's one room, then rolling all the way across. Let's have a look down here. You can see more plugs, look. That'd have been the storage room. Another hotel room, so there's probably been only like 3 or 4 hotel rooms in here, but you can just see what another one. It would be cool to see if any of the locals do know what this looked like when it was in its former glory. It would be quite interesting, but I doubt many people actually remember this place. But looking here, you can just see there, another hotel room, just like an hallway now, this area room here, and that would have led to the far back with a big lounge where people had like just gathered up in there. Maybe they've had tables in there. That's where they would have done the bed and breakfast. That fireplace is. I can just imagine that picture of what this place would have even looked like just by looking at the walls. It does tell a story. But it ain't a big B&B really, it was only a small one, only accommodated like 3 or 4 people. We're going out the back out the door now, and there's the toilet, just right the way there, look. It's a shame why things get graffitied, trashed, and that's how places end up like this. Maybe it was in really good condition and someone come and set fire to it. Who knows? It's kind of a mysterious one. And looking at this one here, this is what I wanted to show you. It's another room. Look at that. This would have been maybe the kitchens for the place. I say it's kitchens because it's got like the tiles right at the back, look. There'd been a fireplace, saw something there similar where the arches, but look at the door. Look at that. Crazy that is. I know it's got them wooden beams on the doorway, look. That is really old. Quite interesting. I mean, many people won't realise this is actually at the bottom of Walton Hill, just lurking there. Bit of abandoned stuff. There is a sauna and a swimming pool but I don't know if you can get to it, and that's the only trouble. I will have a look, but he's really proper overgrown, guys. But the sauna and swimming pool is just there, but I don't know if there's access. It's getting to it, which is the problem, because all this now is just completely overgrown. I don't think there's any way to it at all. I'm just wondering what this is to the hotel. There's even more buildings. I mean, look at that. That is really old, because that's got like a lock on it and it just opens right the way up, look. Look at that. That's crazy. I really have no idea, so some odd outbuildings. Collapsed really bad, but I don't know what that one is at the bottom. That one's a crazy one. Just wondering what that is there. There's another thing here. Ooh, there's so much bramble. Look at that. Very stiff. Maybe the fire hose would have got on there. Looking right the way down at the bottom. I don't really want to get down there to it. But there's something down there. I think we'll leave that. But there would have been more buildings, but it's all been removed. Some supports onto there. But the swimming pool was really quite interesting. There's a big sauna right at the back. It was really intact. You just can't get to it. It's just completely gone now. Overgrown bad. There's no access to it. It's a shame. But looking right the way here, you can just see one of the beds that are out the place. There's one bed, look what was out the building. Whoa, that frightened me. That really did frighten me then. I wonder what that was. But yeah, that is actually one of the beds out the place. It's just rotten really bad. Well, that's the hotel up Clent, which I thought I might have showed you just to add into the video, just to see if it's actually still the same and still here. And it's been like this for so many years. You can just walk right onto it. There's no gates or nothing, no signs saying keep out, so it's definitely fully derelict. Maybe the land in years to come might be claimed, and then it might be restored to something. You never know. But yeah, that's it. I think that's it for the video, I think now. But that's actually a walk to Clent Hills, and I hope you've enjoyed that one because the views are just amazing. And we'll see you in the week with more videos. I might be heading to Himley, which that one's going to be a good one.